Patreon.com/the Walk-Off Podcast. $4 a month gets you in there. All right, let's talk Slim Daddy Vladdy. Expectations
Guerrero.
for 2023. He looks good so far in spring training from the clips I've seen. He looks fast, agile, and accurate.
Dude, they're watching that video of him with Don Mattingly at first base. I don't know if you saw it, but it gave me goosebumps, man.
Oh, yeah.
I was just like, this is awesome. I love it. Donnie Baseball teaching Vladdy tricks of the trade. I mean, just warms your heart, right? And there are so many reasons in my mind to think that 2023 could be the year of Vladdy. And okay. I don't just mean a good year. I mean, literally, he could have a career year. Things are lining up really well for him. And obviously, there are tweaks to his swing he's got to make. He's got to get his launch angle up a little bit. The ground ball thing was really killing him last year, despite having great numbers. The ground ball thing really hurt. But if he can do that, man, there's a few things that are going on this season. And listen, I don't think that the banning of the shift is going to help him all that much. I think it will help him a little bit. However, pitch clock, I think he's going to be a guy that pitch clock benefits more than almost any other guy on this team. I mean, the amount of wiggle room for pitchers on Vladimir Guerrero Jr. when they're facing him at the plate is minuscule. And time matters. And so these guys being a little bit more rushed, a little bit quicker to the plate, and even just having the rhythm of a pitcher down a little bit more where they can't mess with you quite as much. I think we're going to see Vladimir Guerrero Jr. really be able to dial in on some of these guys. Some of these, let's say, slop throwers, right? The number 5 pitcher for the Minnesota Twins, right? You know, whoever that winds up being, you know, like, you know who I'm talking about, right? The number 5 pitcher on most teams, if you just give away a little bit more of their time, that's who this is going to affect, I think, the most, this pitch clock rule. And I could be putting too much into it, but I really think that speeding pitchers up is going to help him.
Okay.
Would love to hear what everyone thinks too. Go ahead and put this in the comments.
On the one hand, I think you're right. On the other hand, I don't know that it like helps him more than anybody else in particular. I would be interested to see. I'm sure this stat is tracked somewhere, and maybe later today I can look into it. But the time between pitches per player, like do pitchers generally take longer against Vladdy than anybody else? Like, because if that's the case, then I hear you, right? Like, if guys are taking an absorbent amount of time against Vladdy and now they won't be able to, then I think sure. But if he's just right in the middle anyways, I don't think that extra help. I don't know if there's anything that makes it extra helpful to him specifically.
We'll have to look if there's this.
You know what? We have a whole community. Someone that's going to be critical of our math skills or our spelling mistakes. One of you snobby kids, look that up and let us know, okay? Do our homework for us, would you?
Yeah, I mean, the shortened right field wall is bound to help him as well. It's just going to.
I mean, yeah, but it's also going to help Bo, and it's...
Yeah.
I'm optimistic too. You said career year, so I'm looking at 2021 season. 48 home runs.
Going to be a career year.
OPS plus of 167. Yes. MVP second in voting. Of course, we remember lost to Shohei Ohtani. That's a big ask saying career year.
It's a big
311 batting average. Like, he was chasing a triple crown until like the final 2 weeks of the season there. Oof, career year is that's a big one. Let's talk specific projections
with Brandon Belt in the lineup there. I honestly think this is going to be such a big year for Vladdy.
All right. Well,
and if it's not, let's never bring this up again.
I think that this is going to be a big year for Vladdy relative to last year. I don't know if it's going to be big relative to the 2021 season. I don't think that... I've talked with my brother on this, and he thinks 2021 may be the best Vlad we ever see in his career.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, at 48 home runs and a batting average well over 300, I mean, that's a career year. Any
For almost
Hall of
anybody.
Famer would be thrilled to have that be their best year. I don't think that that's the best we will ever see. I'm just not 100% confident of when the better season will come. I mean, he's 23, 24 years old right now, so there's lots of time for him to get into his prime. Like, he's not even there yet. I do think the offense for the Blue Jays is going to be up this year. I know that we, seeing the departure of Teoscar and Lourdes and replacing with like the defensive skills of Kevin Kiermaier. I know Joel is way down on this team offensively. I think this team scores more runs than it did last year. Last year was 800 runs scored. I think. Don't quote me on that. I looked that up a couple weeks ago. I think we're better this year. I think all of baseball, the offense goes up because of the rule changes, so that's a little bit of a cheat. But I think relative to the rest of baseball, the Blue Jays improve more offensively than the rule changes affect anybody else. I love the additions of
all
Brandon
these
Belt.
Rule changes for offense, and watch them use a dead ball.
Yeah, right.
Watch them do the most baseball MLB thing they could possibly do. Yeah,
pretty much. Okay, so Vladdy, let's talk expectations for him specifically. Home runs. You think career year? You think he pushes 50 this year?
I think he hits 50. I think 5-0 is where he hits.
I love that.
Yeah, I think 5-0 is where he hits. I mean, obviously, I will settle for 40, Adam. I'm not a greedy little piggy. I will gladly take 40 home runs from Vladimir Guerrero Jr., but I do think that it's going to be a substantial increase from the 32 we saw last year.
All right. Well, I'm with you. I'm going with in the 40s for home runs. I think like mid 40s, like 43 to 47 kind of a range. Yeah, maybe 44 is more mid. I don't know about 50. Be interested. There's just so many different factors at play.
I'm taking.
And I don't know what
I
ball is going to be used.
I know I'm stepping out on a ledge saying
I love
50.
it.
I'm well
I love
aware.
it. I'm taking the very tepid approach. So I step
like,
out on that ledge, my friend.
There were only 2 guys who hit 50 home runs last year. So, and Vladdy led the league in home runs with 48 only 2 years ago. So
50 is substantial.
Nobody hit 50. 50 is substantial. 50 is a big deal.
40 is a big deal.
40 is
50 is insane.
30's a pretty big deal. Like,
I'd be happy if I hit 30. Let's be honest.
Yeah, okay. I'd be happy if you hit 32, bud.
All right. Batting average. He hit 311 in his career year, 274 last year. 284 is the career average.
I think 310. I think he'll
310.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe 305. Like he'll be above 300 in my prediction.
I think he flirts with 300 most of the season, but I think by the end of the year, the number's around like 290, 295, and I'm still going to be thrilled with that.
Yeah, me too. I would be too. I do think he is going to have a big OPS this year. I think it will. I mean, if he's going to hit 50 bombs in my prediction, it is going to help. I think he's over 1,000 there, and I think that he flirts with 1,000 most of the season and then does finish just above it. But
do you know what OPS plus stands for?
Yeah, the average.
Like, right? Just like read the words as if it wasn't abbreviated.
OPS.
It's on base percentage plus slugging plus. Yeah. That's so dumb. That's so dumb. Joel and I realized that on Wednesday, and
that's really funny.
I hate how dumb that is. On base plus slugging plus. All right. I think OPS goes up around 900 again, which I think is a phenomenal season.
Yes, obviously. I'm literally predicting Vladdy will be an MVP candidate. Is what I'm doing here.
I agree. I'm with you there. I don't know. Top 5 in voting for MVP is kind of the season I'm predicting. Hey, substantially improved from last year, but I don't think we're ever seeing the MLB network go, well, here's Vladdy, and we're comparing him to Shohei and Aaron Judge and going, well, here's the argument for Vladdy. I think he's going to be a second tier in that discussion. But again, still, I mean, he was 16th in MVP voting last year. I think we're talking top 5 this year. So very good season. I'm expecting big steps. Okay, stolen bases. This is an interesting one.
Yes.
8 stolen bases last year, 4 the year before.
I'm predicting.
New
Okay, so
rules, new bases.
let's just say, in my opinion, I think the Blue Jays are going to be very aggressive on the base path. We did watch them step up their amount of stolen base attempts when John Schneider took over from Charlie Montoyo. We did not see an increase in the number of stolen bases went up, but the percentage of successful stolen bases didn't go up. So they were hung up to dry quite often on the base path. We did see them make some bonehead plays on the base path. And yes, probably more than their fair share was attributed to Lourdes Gurriel Jr. and Teoscar Hernandez. So addition by subtraction, maybe, but we also saw bonehead moves out of Bo Bichette and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. So we will see what another year of seasoning does to them. I'm going to predict the Vladdy steals between 10 and 15 bases. I think that he is going to be more aggressive on the base path. I think that extra couple inches on both end is going to increase the number of times he is successful. I do hope and pray, Adam, that him stealing 15 bases doesn't mean that he's going to be caught 15 times. Like I hope that there is a little bit more strategy to their running game this year. And I think that guys like Kevin Kiermaier and Dalton Varsho is going to help with that. We'll see.
I think 10 for Vladdy.
Okay.
On the one hand, bigger bases, new pickoff rules should increase base stealing across the board. Like league-wide, numbers should be up, generally speaking. I also think that there is from a health and injury standpoint, a reason to like rein back on him a little bit. And I think he is a green light guy. He is like, I see my opportunity and he wants it. And I love that about him. But I also wouldn't be surprised if he's like the one guy on the team, maybe Springer too, where we're like, hey, that stolen base is nice, but we're up 3 runs. We don't really need it right now. We need you healthy for the next 3 weeks, not nursing a broken thumb,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think Mike Trout could be like a 50 stolen base guy. I think he doesn't steal the way he should for that same reason.
Yes.
Right? So
I would agree.
That's
but can you rein Vladdy in? I don't know. We'll see.